Chapter 1. The Power of Discipline. Laying the foundation discipline is not a foreign concept. It's something we all encounter at different stages of our lives. You've heard of it, practiced it, and perhaps even struggled with it. Yet, despite being a universal idea, discipline remains one of the most misunderstood concepts in modern life. It's easy to think of discipline as something restrictive, something that ties you down, but that's not the full picture. Discipline, when understood properly, is freedom. To truly grasp the importance of discipline, let's first dispel a common misconception. Discipline is not about punishment or hardship. Rather, discipline is about mastery over yourself and your actions. It's about choosing what you want most over what you want now. And it's about harnessing your inner power to create the life you desire. Take a moment to reflect. How often do you let fleeting desires sway you from your true goals? Think about it, those little distractions, those moments of weakness. Maybe it's a few minutes longer on social media, an extra helping of food, or the temptation to stay in bed a bit longer in the morning. These small choices might seem insignificant in the moment, but collectively, they add up to an overwhelming force that holds you back. Now, imagine a life where you decide when to wake up, what to eat, what to focus on, and where your energy goes. That is the power of discipline. It is the quiet force that makes the difference between a dream and a reality. Discipline is the secret ingredient to all personal growth. Whether you're striving for financial independence, a healthier body, or a deeper sense of peace, discipline is the thread that ties all those goals together. Without it, there's no consistent action toward the change you wish to see. But with it, change becomes inevitable. So, what makes discipline so powerful? It's simple. Discipline is the gateway to consistency, and consistency is the cornerstone of success. Success is not built on occasional bursts of motivation, but on the steady, consistent actions you take day in and day out. This is why so many people fail to reach their goals. They rely too heavily on bursts of energy or willpower, rather than cultivating a disciplined approach that becomes second nature. You've probably heard of the phrase, Rome wasn't built in a day. Well, neither is a successful life. It's a gradual process that involves small, deliberate actions compounded over time. And the foundation of those actions? Discipline. In this first chapter, we're going to explore how discipline is the missing key in your life, and how dedicating just 90 days to mastering it can change everything. You will learn that discipline isn't a punishment, it's a choice that leads to the life you've always wanted. But before we dive deeper into how you can make discipline your daily companion, let's first take a look at why most people struggle with it. People fail to master discipline because they misunderstand it. They view it as a short-term effort, a quick fix to their immediate desires. They say, I'll be disciplined for a week or two, only to fall back into their old habits. The truth is, discipline isn't a short-term commitment. It's a lifelong practice. But it's also a skill that, when developed, becomes easier and more natural with time. Discipline is not about white-knuckling your way through life. It's about creating systems and habits that align with your goals. Systems that support you, even when your willpower is running low. Habits that become so ingrained in your routine that you don't even have to think about them. Let's take a closer look at how discipline operates in real life. Imagine a person who decides to lose weight. They start with great intentions. They commit to eating healthier, exercising daily, and getting more sleep. For a week or two, they follow through. But then temptation hits. They skip a workout, eat something unhealthy, and start justifying their actions. Their old habits begin to take over. What went wrong? It wasn't a lack of desire. It wasn't a lack of motivation. It was a lack of discipline. The person didn't establish a system or routine that could withstand the inevitable obstacles and distractions. Without a system, discipline becomes a fleeting impulse rather than a lasting change. This is where the 90-day challenge comes in. The goal of these 90 days isn't perfection. It's about progress. It's about building a foundation that you can continue to build upon long after these 90 days are over. Over the next chapters, we'll explore how to break down your goals, build strong, sustainable habits, and create a life you don't need motivation to sustain. You've likely heard that discipline is the key to success. It's an idea ingrained in many self-help books, motivational talks, and even in our daily conversations. But understanding the psychology behind discipline is what truly empowers us to make it work in our lives. Let's start with something fundamental. The human brain is wired for comfort and instant gratification. Our brains are naturally drawn to what feels good now, whether it's eating that extra piece of cake, scrolling through social media for another hour, or choosing sleep over early morning productivity. Why? Because our brains prioritize immediate rewards over long-term gains. This is where discipline comes in. Discipline is not a natural inclination. It's a learned skill. It's about overriding your brain's natural tendency toward immediate pleasure and teaching yourself to focus on long-term rewards. This shift in focus takes time, patience, and practice. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual transformation. To illustrate this, let's consider how habits are formed. In the simplest terms, habits are formed through repetition. Every time you engage in a behavior, your brain strengthens the neural pathways that support it. The more often you repeat that behavior, the more automatic it becomes. In the beginning, however, it's difficult. You may struggle, feel resistance, or even fail. But with consistent effort, that same behavior becomes ingrained in your routine until it requires little thought or energy. Think about brushing your teeth. When you first learned how to do it as a child, it was something you had to consciously think about. You had to be reminded, sometimes even by your parents. But over time, the action became so routine that now you don't even think about it. You wake up, and it's a part of your morning, just like breathing. This is how habits work. Now, let's relate this back to discipline. When you're working on building discipline in any area of your life, whether it's health, finances, or productivity, your goal is to transform actions into habits. The more you practice discipline, the easier it becomes to stay disciplined. This is why the 90-day challenge is so powerful. When you commit to something for 90 days, you're not just working on achieving short-term results. You're embedding new behaviors into your life. You're creating the foundation for lifelong habits. By the end of the 90 days, the practices that once felt challenging become second nature, ingrained into your daily routine. But what happens when you experience resistance? When you hit those moments of doubt, when you think to yourself, I can't keep going. Here's the psychological truth. Resistance is normal. It's a part of the process. Your brain will try to convince you to stop, to go back to your old habits, because it's comfortable there. This is where your power of choice comes in. The key to overcoming resistance is understanding that it's temporary. The more you push through it, the weaker it gets. Each time you choose discipline over comfort, you reinforce your commitment to your goals. Over time, those initial struggles will fade, and you'll find yourself enjoying the discipline itself, feeling proud of the progress you've made. Now, let's talk about something important. Delayed gratification. This is the ability to resist the temptation for an immediate reward in favor of a later, more substantial reward. It's an essential element of discipline. Our society today is full of instant gratification, think fast food, one-click shopping, and endless streaming options. But if you want to see real change in your life, delayed gratification is the skill you need to master. There's a famous study that illustrates this concept. It's called the marshmallow test, and it was conducted with children. In the experiment, children were given a choice. They could eat one marshmallow right away, or they could wait 15 minutes and receive 2 marshmallows instead. The children who waited demonstrated a higher ability to delay gratification. Interestingly, the study also found that those who delayed eating the marshmallow tended to have better life outcomes in terms of academic success and health. What does this study teach us? It shows that the ability to delay gratification is a critical factor in achieving success. The more you practice resisting the pull of short-term pleasures in favor of long-term benefits, the more disciplined you become. Over the course of 90 days, you will start to build this skill, and it will serve you in every area of your life. Discipline is not just about choosing difficult tasks over easy ones. It's about training your brain to recognize that the best rewards come when you stay committed to your long-term goals. The more you make decisions with delayed gratification in mind, the more your brain learns to prioritize future gains over immediate pleasures. But how do you keep going when the distractions are so tempting? Here's a secret. Don't rely on willpower alone. Willpower is limited. At some point, it will run out, as this is why the most successful people build systems that support their discipline. When your environment is set up to encourage good habits, you don't need to rely on willpower. Instead, your environment works for you. Let's use an example. If your goal is to work out every morning, you could lay out your workout clothes the night before. You could set a reminder on your phone. You could have a friend to check in with. These systems reduce the friction between where you are now and where you want to be. The more you can set up these supportive structures, the less willpower you need to rely on, and the more consistent you'll become. At the end of the day, it's not just about forcefully pushing yourself to be disciplined. It's about creating a lifestyle where discipline is built into your routine. You're not fighting against yourself. You're building a life that naturally leads to the success you desire. We live in a world that's obsessed with motivation. Everywhere you look, there's someone telling you how to get motivated or how to find your passion. Motivational speakers, Instagram influencers, and self-help books all promise that the key to success is just a spark of inspiration, a moment of clarity, or a burst of enthusiasm. But here's the truth that few will tell you. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes. And when it's gone, what will you have left to rely on? The problem with motivation is that it's tied to your feelings. When you feel motivated, everything seems possible. You make big promises to yourself. You dive into projects with energy and excitement, and you picture yourself achieving all your dreams. But when the motivation fades, you're left standing there, wondering why you can't get up and do what you said you would. Motivation alone is simply not enough to sustain long-term success. Motivation is a feeling. Discipline is an action. Let that sink in for a moment. Motivation is based on how you feel. It's temporary. It's the spark that gets you started. But discipline is different. Discipline is what keeps you going when the motivation isn't there. It's the steady, reliable force that drives you even when you'd rather do something else. It's not based on how you feel in the moment. It's based on the commitment you've made to your long-term goals. In the early days of any journey, whether it's a new fitness routine, starting a business, or learning a new skill, motivation tends to be high. You feel excited, eager to tackle your new challenge. You set goals, make plans, and everything seems possible. But as the days go by, the novelty wears off, and reality sets in. You start to miss a workout, procrastinate on tasks, and find excuses to put things off. The motivation that was once driving you now seems like a distant memory. So, what happens when motivation fades? This is where discipline steps in. Discipline is what helps you show up even when you don't feel like it. It's what keeps you moving forward even when the excitement has faded and the newness has worn off. Without discipline, motivation will always be a temporary force. You might get a burst of energy from time to time, but it won't be enough to create lasting change. Let me share a personal story with you. A few years ago, I decided I wanted to get in better shape. I was motivated, of course, and I imagined myself feeling strong and healthy, and I was excited to start my workouts. For the first few weeks, I was on fire. I went to the gym every day, made healthy meals, and felt great. But then something happened. Life got busy. I missed a few workouts, ate some junk food, and before I knew it, the motivation I had was gone. I realized something important at that moment. I wasn't going to get where I wanted to go if I only relied on motivation. I had to build a system, a structure that would carry me through even when motivation was nowhere to be found. So I made a commitment. I decided that no matter how I felt, I would show up. Even if I didn't feel motivated, I would make myself go to the gym. Even if I didn't feel like cooking, I would prepare a healthy meal. I built a routine, and slowly but surely, it became ingrained in my life. Discipline, I discovered, is what kept me on track. It wasn't about feeling motivated every day. It was about sticking to the plan no matter what. And as I continued, something incredible happened. I started to enjoy the process. What once felt like a chore became something I looked forward to. And the best part? I didn't have to rely on motivation anymore. My system of discipline was carrying me forward. This is the key difference between motivation and discipline. Motivation is what gets you started, but discipline is what finishes the job. When you commit to the practice of discipline, you're not relying on fleeting feelings or temporary bursts of energy. You're building a solid foundation that you can count on, day after day, regardless of how you feel. Now, let's talk about a powerful tool that can help you tap into discipline when motivation is low: the power of routine. One of the best ways to stay disciplined is to build routines that make the work easier. When you have a routine, the decision-making process becomes automatic. You don't have to waste energy deciding what to do next. The routine is already set, and your job is simply to follow it. Think about the routines you already have in your life. Maybe you have a morning routine. You wake up, brush your teeth, make your bed, and start your day. You don't need to think about it. It's automatic. The same principle applies to your goals. When you create a routine for your work, your exercise, your eating habits, you remove the friction that can derail your progress. Here's an example. If you want to write every day, I set a specific time each day to write. Treat it like a non-negotiable meeting. You don't have to rely on motivation to sit down and write. You just show up because that's part of your routine. The more you follow through with your routines, the less you'll need to rely on motivation. The routine itself becomes the driving force. In addition to building routines, it's important to develop a mindset that values consistency over perfection. Perfection can be paralyzing. When you expect everything to be perfect, you set yourself up for disappointment and failure. But when you focus on consistency, on showing up every day, even if things aren't perfect, you open the door to progress. Let's go back to the fitness example. If you only worked out when you felt like it, you'd be lucky to make it to the gym once a week. But when you commit to working out consistently, even if you don't have the best workout every time, you make steady progress. Over time, that consistency compounds and the results follow. Discipline isn't about doing things perfectly. It's about doing them regularly, day after day, no matter how you feel. Remember, motivation is fleeting. It's a wave that comes and goes. But discipline is a constant force. It's what carries you through the tough times and ensures that you stay on track. The key to achieving long-term success isn't relying on motivation. It's developing the discipline to keep going, even when the excitement fades. I want you to think about something. What are you relying on right now to achieve your goals? Are you waiting for the next burst of motivation to get you moving? Or are you building a system of discipline that will keep you on track no matter how you feel? In the next chapter, we'll explore how to begin your 90-day challenge. We'll look at how to set up your first steps, how to choose the right goal, and how to overcome the obstacles that will inevitably come your way. Chapter 2. Building the 90-day challenge. Your first steps. In the previous chapter, we explored the concept of discipline and why it's such a crucial ingredient for long-term success. But now, we're going to take it a step further. We're going to look at how you can apply this discipline in a practical, actionable way through the 90-day challenge. The first and most important step in the 90-day challenge is defining your goal. But not just any goal, a clear, specific, and meaningful goal that will stretch you, and challenge you, and push you outside your comfort zone. This goal will be the focal point of your next 3 months. It will be the guiding star that helps you focus your energy and align your actions. The key to setting a goal that's both achievable and impactful is understanding the difference between goals that motivate you and goals that move you. Motivating goals are nice. They sound good on paper, and they often come from the surface level of what you think you should do. But moving goals are the ones that touch your core, that excite you, scare you, and make you feel like you have something real to prove to yourself. To begin, ask yourself, what do I want most in my life right now? What is the one thing that, if I accomplished it, would make me feel truly fulfilled? What am I willing to commit 90 days of consistent action to, no matter how difficult it gets? The answers to these questions will help you uncover a goal that is meaningful and worthy of your time. This isn't about choosing something that sounds easy or trendy. This is about finding something that matters to you deeply, something that, when you achieve it, will make you look back and feel proud of the discipline and effort it took to get there. Let me give you an example. Perhaps your goal is to lose weight, but instead of saying, I want to lose 10 pounds, try reframing it to something like, I want to feel confident and healthy in my body, and I want to prove to myself that I have the discipline to take care of my health, no matter how busy my life gets. This type of goal connects to your deeper sense of purpose. Hey, it's not just about the number on the scale. It's about the transformation that you're committing to over the next 90 days. Your goal needs to be backed by a powerful reason, a why, that fuels your motivation and gives you the resilience to keep going when the going gets tough. It's easy to get motivated when things are going well. But the true test of discipline is when you encounter obstacles, when your willpower is low, and when you're tempted to quit. A strong why doesn't just explain why you want something. It explains why you must have it. This is the part of the goal that connects to your core beliefs and values. It's the part that makes you feel like you can't not go after it. When you connect your goal to a deeper sense of purpose, discipline becomes a lot easier to maintain. For example, if your goal is to get fit, your why might be tied to wanting to be more present and active with your family, to feel more energized every day, or to overcome health challenges that run in your family. The stronger your why, the easier it will be to push through the tough moments. Once you've identified your meaningful goal, it's time to get specific. This is where the SMART goal framework comes in. SMART stands for specific. Your goal should be clear and focused. Instead of saying, I want to get better at fitness, say, I want to work out 4 times a week and complete a 5K race. Measurable. There should be a way to track your progress. For example, I want to save $5,000 in the next 90 days is measurable, whereas I want to save money is not. Achievable. Your goal should be challenging but realistic. Sash, it's important to strike the balance between pushing yourself and setting yourself up for success. Relevant. Your goal must align with what you truly want. It should resonate deeply with you, not just be something that sounds good or that you think you should do. Time-bound. A clear time frame is essential. This is why the 90-day challenge works so well. It's a focused period that allows you to immerse yourself in the process and see real results by the end. By applying the SMART framework, you'll take your goal from something abstract to something concrete, actionable, and measurable. This clarity is essential for your journey. It allows you to track your progress, adjust when necessary, and maintain focus throughout the 90 days. Before we move on, let's talk about expectations. When you begin a 90-day challenge, it's important to acknowledge that you will face setbacks. There will be days when you don't feel like working towards your goal. There will be challenges, distractions, and moments of doubt. But remember this: setbacks are not failures. They are opportunities to grow. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's about consistency. There will be days when you miss a workout or eat something that doesn't align with your goal. That's okay. What matters is getting back on track as quickly as possible. The key to success is not perfection, but persistence. When you persist, even when it's hard, you develop the mental fortitude that discipline requires. Now that you have a goal, a strong why, and clear expectations, it's time to create a plan of action. This is where you break down your 90-day challenge into smaller, manageable steps. And think of it as your blueprint for success. Ask yourself, What daily actions will I take to move closer to my goal? What are the obstacles that might arise, and how can I prepare for them? Who can I share this journey with to hold myself accountable? Your plan should include the specific actions you need to take each day to keep moving forward. Whether it's scheduling time for exercise, setting aside time to read, or making healthier food choices, the key is to make these actions a routine. The more you make them a habit, the less mental energy they require, and the easier it will be to stay disciplined. No matter how clear your goal is or how strong your initial motivation is, obstacles will arise. They're a natural part of the process. Life doesn't stop because you've decided to take on a challenge. In fact, when you commit to a goal, the universe often seems to throw more distractions and challenges your way. And that's okay. The key is how you respond to these challenges. The first thing to remember is that obstacles are not roadblocks, they're opportunities for growth. When you face challenges, it means you're on the right track. Think about it. If everything were easy, there would be no growth. You wouldn't feel the satisfaction of accomplishment. Overcoming obstacles is what makes success so rewarding. Let's break down some common obstacles and how to handle them during your 90-day challenge. 1. Time constraints. One of the most common reasons people struggle with maintaining discipline is time. We all lead busy lives, and the idea of fitting another task into an already full schedule can feel overwhelming. No, but here's the thing. Time isn't the issue. Prioritization is. You've heard the phrase, we make time for the things that matter. If your 90-day challenge is truly important to you, you'll find the time. That doesn't mean you'll have hours each day to dedicate solely to your goal. It means that you'll make small adjustments to your routine to ensure you're moving forward. For example, if your goal is to exercise more, you might find that you have 20 minutes in the morning before your workday starts. If your goal is to read more, you might listen to audiobooks during your commute. If it's financial, perhaps you can set aside a few hours each week to track your spending and work on your budgeting. The key is to break your goal into bite-sized pieces that can be accomplished in the pockets of time that you already have available. Don't worry about the entire 90 days right now. Just focus on today, on the next step, on making progress with what's available to you. 2. Lack of motivation. As we discussed earlier, motivation can be unreliable. There will be days when you feel inspired, energized, and ready to tackle the world. But there will also be days when you feel drained and unmotivated. This is where discipline becomes your greatest ally. When motivation isn't there, discipline steps in. Discipline is about showing up even when you don't feel like it. It's about doing the work even when the excitement has worn off. It's about making progress no matter how small. One strategy to overcome the lack of motivation is to build momentum. Often, the hardest part of a task is simply starting. Once you begin, the energy and momentum tend to build on their own. For instance, if your goal is to write every day but you're struggling to get started, commit to writing for just 5 minutes. Once you get those 5 minutes in, you might find yourself writing for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or more. Another way to deal with lack of motivation is to celebrate small wins. When you celebrate each small step, you reinforce the habit and keep the momentum going. Every time you take a step forward, no matter how small, you're proving to yourself that discipline is working. 3. Fear of failure. One of the biggest obstacles many people face is the fear of failure. We've all been there, afraid that we're not good enough, that we won't succeed, or that we'll fall short of our goals. But here's the truth. Failure is not the end. Failure is a lesson. When you make mistakes or face setbacks, it doesn't mean you've failed. It means you've learned something. Every time you encounter an obstacle, you have a choice. You can either let it stop you, or you can use it as a stepping stone to your next level of success. To overcome the fear of failure, it's essential to reframe your perspective. Instead of thinking of failure as something negative, view it as an opportunity to grow. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How can I adjust my approach moving forward? Remember, discipline is built through trial and error. It's about adapting, learning, and evolving. The more you embrace failure as part of the process, the less it will hold you back. 4. Negative self-talk. Your inner critic can be a major obstacle when you're trying to maintain discipline. You might hear things like, "I'm not cut out for this. I'll never reach my goal," or "I always give up." These negative thoughts are natural, but they don't have to control you. The key to overcoming them is shifting your mindset. Start by acknowledging these negative thoughts without letting them take root. Instead of allowing them to dictate your actions, challenge them. Ask yourself, what evidence do I have that I can't do this? Most likely, the answer is none. We all have the ability to grow, to change, and to achieve. Negative thoughts are simply a reflection of fear and doubt. They're not a reflection of reality. When negative self-talk arises, replace it with empowering statements. For example, when you think, "I can't do this," replace it with, "I'm making progress every day, and I'm capable of achieving my goals." Affirmations like this help train your brain to focus on your strengths and potential rather than your weaknesses and limitations. 5. Lack of accountability. Sometimes the biggest challenge in maintaining discipline is doing it alone. We all need someone to hold us accountable, someone who will check in on our progress, offer support, and encourage us when things get tough. That's why accountability is so powerful. You don't have to go through the 90-day challenge alone. Find a friend, family member, or colleague who can be your accountability partner. Share your goal with them and ask them to check in with you regularly. You can also join a community of like-minded people who are working towards similar goals. Accountability partners can help keep you on track, celebrate your successes, and encourage you when you face setbacks. If you don't have someone you can rely on, set up systems of accountability for yourself. Track your progress daily or weekly, and review your results at the end of each week. When you see how far you've come, it can motivate you to keep going. As you move through your 90-day challenge, obstacles will arise. But with the right mindset, a plan of action, and the support of others, you will be able to navigate through them and stay on track. The key is to remain disciplined, to keep going even when the path is tough, and to remember that each challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger. Now, the next step is to focus on how you can stay on track, how to stay motivated through the ups and downs, and how to evaluate your progress during these 90 days. Now, one of the most crucial aspects of achieving long-term success is maintaining focus. Staying focused is not about being rigid. It's about continuously bringing your attention back to your goal. It's easy to get distracted by new opportunities, competing priorities, or even by the natural ebb and flow of motivation. But if you want to complete your 90-day challenge, focus is the key to finishing strong. 1. The power of single tasking. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Your phone constantly buzzes with notifications, social media draws you in, and countless tasks pull your attention in different directions. The art of focus has become a rare skill. But if you want to achieve your 90-day goal, you need to practice single tasking. Single tasking is the opposite of multitasking. While multitasking might seem productive, studies show that switching between tasks actually drains your energy and reduces your effectiveness. On the other hand, single tasking allows you to give your full attention to one thing, which leads to deeper focus, better results, and less mental fatigue. When you focus on a single task at a time, you're not just getting more done, you're also strengthening your ability to stay disciplined. Single tasking requires you to stay in the present moment and resist the urge to juggle multiple things at once. This is a skill that pays off massively over 90 days. Here's how you can implement single tasking into your daily routine. Prioritize your tasks. Each day, make a list of the most important tasks that will help you move closer to your goal. Then, focus on completing them, one at a time. Asterisk set time blocks. Dedicate specific blocks of time to specific tasks. For example, you might set aside an hour each morning for your workout, followed by an hour for focused work on a personal project. Turn off distractions. Minimize the distractions that pull your attention away from your tasks. Turn off notifications, close irrelevant tabs on your computer, and create an environment that encourages focus. By practicing single tasking, you'll find that staying focused becomes easier, and the results will speak for themselves. 2. The importance of regular reviews and adjustments. As you move through your 90-day challenge, it's essential to regularly evaluate your progress. Reflection is a critical tool for growth. It allows you to assess whether you're staying on track, identify what's working, and make any necessary adjustments to your approach. Don't wait until the end of the 90 days to reflect on your progress. Regular check-ins will ensure that you stay aligned with your goal and make any needed tweaks along the way. Here's how you can structure your evaluations. Weekly check-ins. Set aside time at the end of each week to assess your progress. Reflect on what you accomplished, what went well, and what could have gone better. Did you meet your goal for the week? Were there any obstacles that slowed you down? Weekly reviews allow you to celebrate your wins and learn from any setbacks. Midway. Review. At the halfway point, after 45 days, take a deeper look at your progress. Is your goal still as relevant as it was when you first started? Do you feel connected to your why? Are your daily habits and routines still aligned with your objective? The midway review is the perfect time to realign, adjust your goals if needed, and strengthen your commitment for the next 45 days. Adjusting your strategy. Sometimes, despite your best efforts, things won't go according to plan. And that's okay. Discipline doesn't mean sticking to a plan that isn't working. It means adjusting when necessary. If you're hitting a roadblock or if your progress is slower than you anticipated, it's time to tweak your strategy. This might mean breaking your goal down further into smaller tasks, changing your approach, or even shifting your timeline. Remember, the 90-day challenge isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Small adjustments along the way ensure that you stay on the path to success. 3. Try the role of accountability. While discipline is a personal journey, accountability plays an important role in maintaining focus and consistency. Having someone to check in with can help you stay on track, especially when motivation wanes. Find someone who can hold you accountable, whether it's a friend, a mentor, or a fellow goal setter. This person should be someone who will be honest with you, encourage you when you need it, and push you when you're ready to give up. Accountability doesn't have to be formal. It could be as simple as sending a text every day to a friend saying, "I did my workout," or "I saved the amount I planned to this week." Knowing that someone else is aware of your commitment adds an extra layer of responsibility to your actions. In addition to personal accountability systems can also be incredibly helpful. This could include tracking your progress in a journal, using apps to log your habits, or setting reminders to keep your goal front and center. The more visible your progress is, the easier it is to stay committed. 4. Overcoming self-doubt and staying resilient. There will be moments, perhaps many moments, when you start to doubt yourself. You'll question whether you're making enough progress. You'll wonder if it's worth the effort. These moments of self-doubt are completely natural. Resilience is about continuing to push forward even when those doubts arise. The key to resilience is understanding that doubt is temporary. The only way to move beyond it is to take action. Every time you choose to act despite your doubts, you're strengthening your ability to be resilient. This is where the real transformation happens, when you decide that your actions will speak louder than your doubts. One powerful technique for managing self-doubt is to focus on the process, not just the outcome. Instead of fixating on the end goal, celebrate the small wins along the way. Each day you take action toward your goal. You are building a new habit and reinforcing your discipline. Even if the results don't appear immediately, the work you're putting in is adding up. Chapter 3. Building momentum, creating lasting change. By now, you've committed to your goal, you've started to implement your daily actions, and you've overcome some obstacles. The 90-day challenge has been an incredible journey, and you've learned a lot about yourself. But now, the real transformation is beginning. You've learned the basics of discipline, focus, and consistency. Now, we'll explore how to make this change last. The first concept we need to understand is habits. Habits are the invisible forces that govern most of our actions. They operate behind the scenes without us even thinking about them. In fact, it's estimated that about 40% of our daily actions are habits, things we do automatically without conscious thought. The power of habits is both a gift and a challenge. When our habits align with our goals, they propel us forward. When they don't, they can keep us stuck. So, how do we create habits that support our long-term success? Let's begin by understanding how habits are formed. The process of habit formation can be broken down into 3 stages. 1. Cue. This is the trigger that starts the habit. It could be a time of day, an emotional state, or a specific situation. Now, for example, the cue for brushing your teeth might be waking up in the morning or going to bed at night. 2. Routine. This is the behavior or action that follows the cue. When you wake up, the routine might be to brush your teeth. When you feel stressed, the routine might be to grab a snack. 3. Reward. This is the positive outcome you experience after completing the behavior. The reward for brushing your teeth might be a clean mouth and a sense of freshness. The reward for eating when you're stressed might be temporary comfort or a reduction in anxiety. To build a new habit, you need to set up a clear cue, routine, and reward. The key is repetition. The more you repeat the habit, the stronger it becomes, and eventually, the routine becomes automatic. Let's apply this to the 90-day challenge. Imagine you're trying to build the habit of exercising daily. Your cue might be setting an alarm for 6 a.m. each day. The routine would be to put on your workout clothes and exercise for 20 to 30 minutes. The reward could be the energy boost you feel afterward or the sense of accomplishment. Over time, as you repeat this habit, it becomes ingrained in your routine. You won't have to rely on motivation anymore. It will be something you simply do. The challenge, however, comes when you try to break old habits. This is where discipline plays a crucial role. The old habits are deeply ingrained, often tied to specific emotional triggers, and they can be hard to change. But it is possible. To break a bad habit, you need to replace it with a better one. Simply trying to stop a habit doesn't work because you haven't created a new behavior to take its place. Let's take smoking as an example. If you simply say, "I'm going to stop smoking," you're not addressing the underlying cues and rewards that are associated with the behavior. Instead, you need to find a healthier habit to replace it. For example, when you feel the urge to smoke, the cue, you could replace it with deep breathing or drinking a glass of water, the routine. The reward could be the sense of calm or the feeling of taking care of your health. As you move through the 90-day challenge, keep in mind that habits take time to form. Research shows that it takes an average of 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic. This means that during your challenge, you're still in the process of rewiring your brain to make your goal a habit. The more consistent you are, the faster this process happens. One powerful technique to build momentum is to stack your habits. Habit stacking is when you attach a new habit to an already established one. For example, if you already brush your teeth every morning, you could stack a 5-minute meditation practice right afterward. This way, the established habit, brushing your teeth, becomes the cue for the new habit, meditation. Habit stacking helps to anchor your new behaviors, making them easier to stick with. At this point in your 90-day challenge, you've learned the essential components of discipline: setting clear goals, building habits, staying focused, and overcoming obstacles. But now it's time for the most important shift of all: transforming discipline into a lifestyle. Discipline isn't something that you do for 90 days and then stop. It's something that becomes a part of who you are. The ultimate goal of the 90-day challenge isn't just to reach your goal. It's to create a sustainable lifestyle that supports your success for the long term. The 90 days are the beginning, not the end. When discipline becomes a lifestyle, it's no longer a struggle. It's natural. It's woven into the fabric of your daily routine. You don't have to force yourself to work out or eat healthy, because it's just what you do. You don't have to think twice about checking in with your goal because it's a part of your identity. But how do you make this shift from effort to ease? The key is consistency and compounding effort. Every day, you're putting in small amounts of effort that add up to big changes. Over time, these efforts become automatic, and discipline feels like second nature. One important aspect of making discipline a lifestyle is to continuously reassess and evolve. The 90-day challenge is a starting point, but your journey doesn't end here. After completing your challenge, you'll need to set new goals, refine your habits, and keep growing. Think about it this way. When you first started, you were focused on building the foundational habits that support your goal. Now that you're 90 days in, you can start to think bigger. Perhaps you'll aim for more challenging goals, or perhaps you'll refine your existing habits to make them even more effective. The lifestyle of discipline isn't about being perfect every day. It's about making progress every day. It's about creating a system of habits that will continue to serve you long after your 90-day challenge ends. It's about understanding that every decision you make, no matter how small, is either moving you closer to your goal or further away from it. And when you live with this awareness, you start to see discipline as your greatest ally. As you finish your 90-day challenge, take a moment to reflect on how far you've come. Celebrate the progress you've made, but don't stop there. Keep pushing forward, keep evolving, and keep building the lifestyle that supports your long-term success. In the next chapter, we'll discuss how to expand on your newfound discipline, create even bigger goals, and take your growth to the next level. Chapter 4. Expanding your discipline. Moving to the next level. By now, you've completed the 90-day challenge, and you've experienced the power of discipline in your life. You've made progress, built new habits, and transformed your mindset. But if there's one thing you'll come to realize after completing this journey, it's that discipline is not a destination. It's a continual process. The 90 days were just the beginning of something much bigger. You've laid a strong foundation, but now it's time to expand your discipline and push yourself to new heights. Discipline isn't a one-time effort. It's a lifelong journey of growth and development. The question now is, how do you build on the momentum you've created and elevate your life even further? The answer lies in scaling your discipline. Just as you started with small, manageable actions, now it's time to set bigger, more challenging goals. But scaling doesn't mean overwhelming yourself. It means taking what you've learned, refining your habits, and applying them to more ambitious goals. One of the most important shifts you can make is to think bigger about what discipline can achieve. In the first 90 days, you focused on building consistency. But now, you need to focus on mastery. Mastery comes from continually stretching yourself, improving your skills, and seeking new ways to challenge your limits. Whether it's in your health, career, finances, or personal growth, the principle remains the same. To expand your discipline, you must expand your vision. To illustrate this, let's consider an athlete. In the beginning, an athlete might focus on basic training, building endurance, and developing consistency. After 90 days, the athlete has established a foundation of discipline. But to reach the next level, they must start focusing on mastery. They push themselves harder, set more specific goals, and take their training to a deeper level of excellence. The same applies to your life. Whether you're seeking professional success, personal growth, or deeper relationships, you must move beyond the basics and continually strive for mastery. But how do you do this? It's all about gradual improvement. Here's how to start scaling your discipline. Raise the stakes. Challenge yourself with bigger goals. If your 90-day challenge was about fitness, aim to run a half marathon. If it was about financial discipline, consider building an investment portfolio. If it was about creativity, aim to launch a project that showcases your growth. Don't set goals that excite you and scare you at the same time. Refine your routines. Now that your habits are established, look for ways to improve them. Can you make your workouts more intense? Can you tweak your budget to save more efficiently? Can you refine your morning routine to be even more productive? This step is about optimization, fine-tuning the systems you've put in place. Develop resilience. As you scale your discipline, you'll encounter greater challenges. But with each challenge, comes an opportunity to build resilience. Think of the process as hardening steel. The more pressure you apply, the stronger you become. And just like steel, you'll be able to withstand more over time. Each setback is a lesson, and each lesson makes you more resilient. The process of scaling your discipline doesn't happen overnight. It's a continuous journey, one that requires you to keep raising your standards and pushing your boundaries. But with the foundation you've built, you now have the tools and the mindset to take it to the next level. Mastery, as we've discussed, is the key to turning your discipline into lasting, meaningful change. The process of mastering a skill, a habit, or an aspect of your life is what will make the difference between a fleeting moment of success and sustained, lifelong growth. To transform your life through mastery, you must first commit to lifelong learning. In the beginning of your 90-day challenge, your focus was on building habits. Now, your focus should be on expanding your knowledge and skill set in the areas that matter most to you. Mastery isn't just about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's about learning from every experience and continually finding ways to improve. Take a moment to think about an area of your life where you want to achieve mastery. Maybe it's in your career, becoming the best in your field. Maybe it's in your relationships, deepening your emotional intelligence and communication. Maybe it's in your health, becoming not just fit, but thriving in every aspect of your physical and mental well-being. Whatever it is, the path to mastery begins with deepening your commitment to improvement. If you're committed to becoming a master, you'll constantly seek to improve, even when you've already achieved success. You won't rest on your laurels. You'll keep pushing yourself, learning, adapting, and evolving. Here are some ways to approach the journey toward mastery. Deliberate practice. Mastery is not about just going through the motions. It's about deliberate practice-focused, intentional effort to improve. Deliberate practice means breaking down your skills into smaller components, identifying areas of weakness, and working intentionally on improving those weaknesses. It's not enough to just put in the hours. You need to be conscious of what you're working on and how you can get better. Seek feedback. In order to master something, you need to know where you're going wrong. Seek feedback from others, whether it's a mentor, a colleague, or a coach. Constructive criticism helps you identify blind spots and accelerates your growth. Embrace failure. Failure is a natural part of the process toward mastery. In fact, failure is necessary. The most successful people in the world have failed countless times, and what sets them apart is their ability to learn from failure, get back up, and keep moving forward. Don't be afraid to fail. Embrace it as part of the journey toward mastery. Expand your knowledge. The more you know, the more you can apply your discipline to new areas of life. Invest in learning, whether through books, courses, mentors, or real-world experiences. Knowledge fuels growth, and growth fuels discipline. Mastery doesn't just happen. It requires continuous effort, persistence, and a commitment to lifelong learning. But the rewards are immeasurable. As you move forward, you'll find that your life begins to change in profound ways. Your goals will no longer seem distant or out of reach. They'll be within your grasp. And that's the beauty of discipline and mastery. They lead to transformation, not just on the surface, but at the deepest levels of your life. Chapter 5. Harnessing Discipline for Personal Transformation. Now that you've built a strong foundation of discipline and are beginning to experience the rewards of your 90-day challenge, it's time to dig deeper into the mental shift required to sustain this transformation. Discipline isn't just about actions, it's about mindset. And it's the transformation of your mindset that will ultimately dictate whether you continue growing or slip back into old habits. The first mindset shift you must make is understanding that you are not your habits. Habits are simply patterns of behavior you've learned over time, but they don't define who you are. Too often, people identify with their failures or their shortcomings, but this is a dangerous mindset to adopt. It creates a false sense of permanence, as though your past actions have sealed your fate. You are not your past mistakes. You are not your bad habits. You are not a person who lacks discipline. Your behaviors and habits are changeable, and you have the power to redefine yourself at any moment. When you view yourself as someone capable of change, you break free from the limitations of past failures. In order to cultivate this mindset, start by releasing the idea of perfection. Perfection is an illusion. Nobody gets everything right every time. But discipline isn't about perfection. It's about progress. If you fall short one day, don't see it as a failure. See it as an opportunity to learn. Rather than berating yourself, ask, what can I do better tomorrow? The process of growth is never linear, and in understanding this allows you to embrace the bumps along the way without losing momentum. The power of self-awareness. Another crucial aspect of rewiring your mindset is developing self-awareness. Without self-awareness, you're simply reacting to life instead of proactively shaping it. Self-awareness allows you to understand your triggers, your emotional patterns, and your limiting beliefs. It helps you understand why you do what you do and enables you to make conscious choices instead of being controlled by automatic reactions. To cultivate self-awareness, ask yourself reflective questions like, what habits do I have that are holding me back from my goals? What emotions arise when I think about my goals? Fear, excitement, doubt. What past experiences have shaped my beliefs about my ability to succeed? Self-awareness isn't just about identifying your weaknesses, it's also about recognizing your strengths. Celebrate the progress you've made so far, and take pride in the discipline you've developed. Acknowledge the small victories. Every time you take a step forward, it reinforces the belief that you are capable of achieving your goals. This creates a positive feedback loop that propels you forward. By now, you've learned that discipline is a skill that can be developed, and you've seen how it's transformed the way you approach your goals. But to make this transformation truly lasting, you need to embed discipline into your very identity. It's no longer enough to think of discipline as something you do. You must become a disciplined person. When discipline is a part of your identity, it's no longer something you struggle with. And it's simply who you are. Imagine waking up every day, confident that you'll follow through on the promises you've made to yourself. This is the power of embedding discipline into your identity. Here's how you can make discipline a natural part of your identity. 1. Reaffirm your commitment daily. Every morning, remind yourself of why you're on this journey. You don't need to do this in a long, elaborate way. A simple mental affirmation like, I am a disciplined person, and I make choices that support my goals, can help reinforce your new identity. When discipline becomes a part of your identity, it's no longer something you have to try to do. It's simply who you are. 2. Associate discipline with positive emotions. The more you associate discipline with positive feelings like pride, accomplishment, and self-respect, the more likely you are to maintain it. Celebrate the small wins. When you complete a task or stick to your goal, take a moment to feel proud of yourself. Celebrate the fact that you're proving to yourself that you can follow through. 3. Focus on the process, not the outcome. When you focus on the process, the small daily actions that make up your goal, you're reinforcing the identity of someone who is disciplined. If you focus only on the end result, you may feel frustrated or discouraged when you don't see immediate progress. But if you focus on the process, you can find satisfaction in the consistency itself. 4. Surround yourself with like-minded people. The people you surround yourself with have a profound impact on your mindset. If you want to cultivate discipline, I seek out individuals who value growth and consistency. Their influence will reinforce your own commitment to discipline. 5. Embrace challenges as opportunities. When you view challenges as opportunities to grow, you reinforce the identity of someone who is resilient and disciplined. Discipline isn't about avoiding hardship. It's about staying the course, even when things get tough. In the process of embedding discipline into your identity, it's important to understand that discipline is not a fixed trait. It's a muscle that grows stronger with use. The more you use your discipline, the easier it becomes. But just like any muscle, it requires consistent effort to maintain. As you continue to build discipline into your life, remember this. Discipline is the key to unlocking your full potential. It is the foundation upon which all other success is built. And when discipline becomes a part of who you are, nothing will stand in your way. Chapter 6. Deepening your habits. Aligning discipline with purpose. As you've progressed through your 90-day challenge, you've gained a deeper understanding of discipline and its power to transform your life. But as you scale your discipline and move toward mastery, the next step is to align your discipline with a deeper purpose. You see, discipline without purpose is like a ship without a destination. It's moving, but it's not moving anywhere meaningful. Purpose is the fuel that makes your discipline sustainable. Without it, you might eventually lose the drive to keep going. But when you connect your daily actions to something greater than yourself, your discipline takes on a new level of power. It becomes your guiding force, propelling you toward meaningful change. Let's take a moment to reflect on your life's purpose. What is the deeper reason behind the goals you've set? Why do you want to achieve what you've committed to? Is it just about success, wealth, or status? Or is there something more? The most successful and fulfilled people are not those who follow their goals blindly. They are the ones who know why they are pursuing those goals in the first place. To align your habits with your purpose, you need to connect your daily actions to your values. Values are the things that matter most to you, your deepest beliefs about what is important in life. When your habits reflect your values, discipline becomes less of a struggle and more of a natural expression of who you are. It becomes a way of life. Take a moment to ask yourself, what do I value most in life? Think of things like family, health, freedom, creativity, or helping others. How does my current goal align with these values? What daily habits can I create that will reflect these values? For example, if you value health and well-being, your habits might include regular exercise, mindful eating, and proper sleep. If you value creativity, your habits might include setting aside time each day to write, create art, or pursue a passion project. When you connect your actions to your values, you feel a sense of fulfillment as you progress. Rather than just focusing on external rewards like money or accolades, aligning your habits with your purpose also means taking ownership of your actions. And it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that external factors control your success, luck, circumstances, or even other people. But the truth is that you are the architect of your own life. Your habits and discipline shape your future. When you take full ownership of your habits, you stop making excuses. You stop blaming circumstances or other people. Instead, you take responsibility for your decisions and actions. And this is where the real transformation begins. Now that you've begun to align your discipline with your deeper purpose, the next step is to create habits that serve that purpose. Habits are the building blocks of discipline. And when your habits are purposeful, they create a compounding effect that leads to lasting success. The first thing to understand is that habits are the small actions that shape your reality. Every habit, whether good or bad, is a small decision you make that adds up over time. The beautiful part about habits is that they don't require massive efforts to make a significant impact. They just require consistent action. Let's think about your habits from a long-term perspective. Imagine that you want to build a successful career. The process of mastering your craft, networking, and advancing your skills happens gradually. But when you look back after a few years, you see how all those small daily actions have led to the success you now enjoy. The key to creating habits that serve your purpose is to make them small, manageable, and consistent. When you make a habit small and easy to accomplish, you increase the likelihood of sticking with it. Let's take a look at how you can create habits that serve your larger purpose. 1. So start small. If you want to develop a habit of reading, start with just 10 minutes a day. If you want to build a fitness habit, start with 15 minutes of exercise. When you keep things small, they don't feel overwhelming, and you're more likely to stick with them. 2. Focus on consistency. Discipline thrives on consistency, not perfection. Instead of aiming to exercise for an hour every day, aim to exercise consistently for 10 to 15 minutes each day. By focusing on showing up, you build momentum, which will make it easier to increase the duration and intensity of the habit over time. 3. Make your habits visible. You're more likely to stick with a habit if it's visible in your environment. For example, if you want to eat healthier, stock your kitchen with nutritious foods and make them easily accessible. If you want to write more, place your journal or notebook on your desk where you'll see it every day. Visibility creates reminders that encourage you to take action. 4. Track your progress. One of the most effective ways to build lasting habits is to track your progress. This could be through a habit tracker app, a journal, or simply checking off a box each day. Tracking progress helps you stay accountable and gives you a sense of accomplishment, even with the smallest steps. 5. Celebrate your wins. It's important to celebrate your progress along the way. Don't wait until you've reached the end of your goal to acknowledge your achievements. Every small step forward is a victory. Celebrating these wins reinforces your commitment to the process and builds positive momentum. Once you've established a routine, focus on refining it. As you continue with your 90-day challenge and as you align your habits with your deeper purpose, it's important to refine and improve your habits. Are there ways you can increase your efforts? Can you push yourself to challenge your habits in new ways? Remember, discipline is about gradual growth, not stagnation. The most successful people in the world don't rely on bursts of energy or motivation to reach their goals. They rely on well-established habits that align with their core purpose. And you can do the same. The more you create habits that serve your purpose, the more your discipline will become effortless. It will be woven into the fabric of your daily life, and you'll no longer feel like you're forcing yourself to be disciplined. Instead, you'll simply be living in alignment with your purpose. Chapter 7. The Mastery of Discipline. Sustaining Success. Beyond 90 days. You've now completed the 90-day challenge, but your journey with discipline doesn't end here. In fact, this is where the real work begins. The first 90 days have set the stage, but the key to sustainable success is not in the end of the challenge, it's in how you continue to grow. This chapter is about maintaining the momentum, refining your habits, and achieving mastery over your discipline. Think about any skill or field where you want to succeed, whether it's fitness, business, creativity, or personal growth. Every expert, every successful individual will tell you the same thing. Mastery comes with consistent growth, not sudden leaps. The best athletes, entrepreneurs, or creators didn't achieve success through a single burst of effort. They achieved it by showing up consistently, refining their craft, and improving a little bit every day. The principle of consistent growth is what separates those who reach their goals from those who fall off track. It's easy to make progress when you're highly motivated and the goal is fresh in your mind. But when the novelty fades, when challenges arise, and when life gets busy, many people give up. Why? Because they're not prepared to embrace the journey of continuous growth. To truly master discipline, you must adopt the mindset of a lifelong learner. This mindset means committing to progress, not perfection. It means embracing the process of growth, even when you don't see immediate results. Discipline is about doing the work even when it's hard, and trusting that your efforts will pay off in the long run. It's essential to understand that mastery isn't something you achieve once and for all. It's a continuous, evolving process. The more you refine your habits, the more you understand about yourself, and the more you push yourself to evolve, the more you step into mastery. As you move forward, the most powerful thing you can do is to continue reinforcing your new identity. You've spent 90 days building discipline. Now, you need to own it fully. The more you identify as a disciplined person, the more automatic your disciplined actions will become. In the past, you might have thought of yourself as someone who struggled with habits or lacked consistency. But now, you've proven to yourself that you are capable of discipline. This is where mindset plays a crucial role. So, your identity is the lens through which you view your actions. If you identify as a disciplined person, you'll make decisions that align with that identity. For example, When faced with the decision to skip a workout or choose unhealthy food, you'll naturally choose the disciplined path because it aligns with who you are now. This is the power of a new identity. Discipline becomes your default setting, rather than something you have to consciously work for. To reinforce your disciplined identity, consistently remind yourself of your why you started this journey in the first place. Why is discipline important to you? Why does it matter to live a life of purpose and consistency? These daily reminders serve as anchors that keep you grounded in your new identity. Yon, the real secret to lasting success isn't in your ability to stick to a 90-day challenge. It's in your ability to use that discipline to create lasting impact. Now that you've developed the mental fortitude, the next step is to leverage it in every aspect of your life. To understand how discipline leads to long-term impact, think of it in terms of compounding results. At first, the progress may seem slow. You may wonder, am I really making a difference? The answer is yes. Every small action every day you show up compounds over time. That's the beauty of discipline. It works quietly in the background, building momentum, creating change in ways you might not immediately see. Think of a snowball rolling down a hill. At the top, it's small and insignificant, but as it gathers momentum, it grows bigger and bigger. The same applies to your disciplined actions. The more you commit to small, positive habits, the more they will compound, building your success. Here's how to leverage discipline for long-term impact. Set bigger but realistic goals. Now that you've mastered consistency in smaller tasks, it's time to aim higher. What goals seem impossible now? Break them down into manageable pieces and apply the same level of discipline. Start with one small step at a time, and you'll be amazed at how far you can go. Every new challenge you take on will make you more resilient, stronger, and more capable. Expand your influence. As you grow in your discipline, you'll find that you can have a positive impact on those around you. Your habits will inspire others, and your disciplined mindset can be contagious. Whether it's your family, your colleagues, or your friends, your commitment to consistency can create a ripple effect that influences others in powerful ways. Revisit and refine your goals. As your discipline grows, so too should your goals. When you reach one milestone, take time to reflect, adjust, and aim higher. This doesn't mean adding pressure. It means continuing to challenge yourself and setting new, exciting objectives that are aligned with your values. Embrace the process of continuous learning. Discipline is not just about doing what you know. It's about constantly learning, evolving, and applying new knowledge. This is where true mastery lies in the ongoing quest for growth and improvement. The more you learn, the better equipped you are to handle challenges and continue on your path of success. Remember, long-term success is built on small, consistent actions. The more you apply discipline to every area of your life, the greater the impact you will see. Whether it's in your career, health, relationships, or personal growth, discipline is the driving force behind all of it. And just like compound interest, the more you invest in your disciplined actions, the bigger the rewards will be. As you move forward, don't see your discipline as something you have to force. It's the key to your success. It's what keeps you moving forward, even when life gets tough. And as you continue to refine your habits and align them with your purpose, you'll see the lasting impact it has on your life and the world around you.